Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you are new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds. If you'd like to join the family, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Also, click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the conversation, you can join me most weekdays when I go live. I have been gone for like 18 days, but I'm back now. But you can join me most weekdays where I go live around 4 p.m. Central Time. And of course, it's 6:30 Central Time today, but everything was off track. And I had a lot to catch up on before I could go live today. Let's see. If you'd like to participate, in the chat here, if you'd like to reach out to me outside of the live stream, you can consider joining the Discord I've created. There's a link for that down in the description below. Today is day 1003. I hit day 1000 while I was gone. I was thinking, man, I should try to do something, but it was a crazy busy week for me. I was outside for probably 10 days straight, with only a little bit of reprieve when I was shopping and things like that. So far, through a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet, I've been able to lose over 260 pounds and even a little bit more. I'll go over that with you here today as well. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I love hearing those as well. If you are struggling with your diet, let us know what's causing your struggles. If you're succeeding, let us know what you're doing to succeed. Share that with the rest of us. And at the end of the day, what are some things you are doing or that you can do that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Let's go ahead and switch over to the main screen here. I got to take a drink of water here real quick. I got all kinds of stuff in front of me. I got my lunch that I haven't even started yet. It's broccoli and potatoes here. I might try to get eating that here while I'm streaming, answering questions. Make sure you guys hit that like button down below. Let's get this out there. Maybe we can get some people in here on the chat today. Let me see. I need to open this up. Not what I wanted. Here we go. I wanted to open that up right. I did either. I'm just trying to. I usually am able to monitor. Here we go. That's what I need. That button. So a bunch of people checking in here. Let me say hello to them. Let's see. Carrie's checking in, saying hello. Anthony, Colleen. Anthony says, looking great, John. Jay says, hi, you lost more weight. I did lose a little bit more weight. Let's see how much I'm able to keep off, I guess, but I did. Carrie says, I need a shave. Anthony says to keep the beard. We're going to have to get a poll going. Carrie says, now that I'm used to seeing his face, you kind of like it. So that I think I'm going to have to go with Carrie here, Anthony. So we might have to go with the shave. Plants Only Munchers. Hello, hello. Jay, happy millennium. Yes, happy day 1000. I'm going to have to do a special like 1000 days on my diet video. I did a 900-day video and it did really good. So I'm going to have to do that. Tennessee, New York girl says, oh, wow. Hello, everyone. It's been a while. Yes, it's been a while since I've been live. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be talking to you guys. And Pretty Girl's mom says, you did get quite a bit of sun. I did get a lot of sun. The lights here probably don't do my face any, I got tan. I was out in the sun a lot. And then Plants Only Muncher says, no beard. So yes, I don't even know. where to start or what to begin with. So let's see. The last time I was on July 13th. I was getting ready for Ragbrai. It is a bike ride across Iowa. I run a charter service that we help people with their camping arrangements and getting their baggage across the state while they're riding their bike. It's the 50th year, so it was a very busy year. I knew it was going to be a busy year, and I knew it was going to be full of challenges because of that. So, in a way, I think that I maybe almost started this challenge for this event 3 years ago. You know, like Ragbrai is a big part of every year for me, you know, and today when we were putting all our gear together and just seeing everything that we have for the event, the 10 canopies and the 60, 70 chairs and the folding tables and the water stuff and everything we have. And I kind of realized that maybe, you know, everything I had been doing was leading up to me, you know, hitting a home run at this event. And I really feel like I did. I took care of any challenge that came in front of me, and I made it as easy a ride as I could for my customers or for the riders that ride with me. So I'm incredibly grateful for the weight I've lost and the difference it made. I could not have done what I did at 500 pounds. And so, and, and so, yeah, that was, something that, yeah, I'm happy how things went, and I'm happy with my weight. I know a lot of people are interested in weight loss and how I did with my weight. I was not perfect with food, and I'll go over food here, real quick. And just, I guess I'll just run through my photos and kind of talk about um, what I decided to take photos of throughout the week. I have lots of random things here, so let me see what I get. Let me go back to about the time, I think this was the 13th here. So this was the meal I ate after that. So let me see. Anthony says, you heard about the event. Carrie says, yeah, it's a big event in Iowa, but probably less so anywhere else. Dingo says, you looked for us at the Des Moines. The Des Moines campground was, that was a rough one. I don't have my watch died, and I don't have the charger, and it's killing me that I don't have my watch stats right now, because I was in Des Moines, and the way they had the campground set up, it was just this huge field, or this huge space. And I had to walk back and forth across the field because I didn't have my bike with me in the morning. I didn't get my bike till like noon. And so at the end of the day, I had looked at my watch and I had done like 30,000 plus steps in Des Moines. I was walking everywhere. All week I was doing, you know, more than 20,000 steps. Yeah, Carrie says Des Moines was a good night to be in a hotel. Yeah, that was your one hotel night, Dingo had said. Yeah, that would have been a good night to be in a hotel. It was a hot day. It was hard to get out of the sun. There wasn't much shade. But luckily we were kind of on the west side of the park, so we were the first ones to get any shade. So the food here, wrong one. Here we go. So this was, you know, the creamy polenta with mushrooms and white beans. This was on July 13th. Then on the 14th, had our oatmeal. My diet was pretty much on regular schedule up until we left on the 19th. So yeah, just kind of oatmeal, corn on the cob, or sweet corn. 14th had broccoli and potatoes, There's me doing a video. Let's see, that's the 15th, more corn on the cob. I didn't have much corn on the cob. I'm missing corn on the cob. I didn't have any while I was out on Ragbrai. This looks like a food. Yeah, this is Spanish rice that we had. This is a water pump that I built for our shower trailer. Let's see, this was the 17th. This was oatmeal that I had. I know we're getting closer to when I left home. More oatmeal, some broccoli. Let's see. Broccoli and potatoes on the 18th here. This was really good on the 18th. I don't know what the name of it was. Carrie's on here. Maybe she can let me know, but I'm pretty sure it was sweet potatoes and quinoa. It might have been pumpkin, but I think it was sweet potato and quinoa. But I'm not exactly sure. Maybe Carrie will say here. Lynette's saying hi here. Karen, hi all. Hello, hello. Carrie here says last year she prepped a ton of food ahead of time, but a lot of it didn't get eaten or somehow got waterlogged in the cooler. And this year we just winged it a lot more. We did wing it a lot more this year. And it worked out for me. And I feel like we kind of winged it the first year too. And when I winged it, it was like, well, it's don't eat or anyways, I'll go through what I had here. So Carrie says that this was black bean and yam salad, and it is made with quinoa. Some more sweet corn. You can tell I like my sweet corn when it's in season. The 19th. So this I'm thinking is I'm still in town on the 19th here. So it's broccoli. And then this I think was my last meal at home was it's brown rice with a bunch of roasted vegetables. I don't know if this is even a recipe or if this is just something Carrie had just kind of made up here. And so but this was my last meal at home. Dingo says, when you get to it, tell us about your night in Coralville too. Yeah, absolutely. So then this was some photos that, oh yeah, this was a photo I had my son take. This is not a great photo, but this is some of what you see on Ragbrai is just kind of big skies with big clouds and lots, we just had some rain the previous week, so everything was green. When you were up in the morning driving, or riding your bike, there's a fog and mist throughout the fields as you're coming over the hills. It's just beautiful. And it's really one of the things that I love about Ragbrai is I'm up at 4 a.m. driving and I get to see the sunrise, and we're hanging out at camp and we get to see the sunset, and it's it's beautiful. So Carrie here says that dinner that last night was just her trying to use up all the vegetables. Monique says, welcome back. You were missed. Thanks, Monique. I'm happy to be back, and it's nice to be missed. Let's see here. So this was my first meal on my own. I had taken some cashews with me. I don't know if I had mango with me or not, but that was going to be kind of some of my snacks, was cashew and mango. But this was one of my meals in Storm Lake. It was just some heated up potatoes. I guess, yeah, I did have broccoli with it. So broccoli and potatoes. We stayed in a hotel this night. This was like the Thursday before Ragbrai. because Storm Lake wouldn't give us access to water. So they would give us water, but we had to pick it up 2 days earlier. So I had to turn one of my moving trucks into a water truck and fill IBC totes with water. So we were in Storm Lake. So that was my dinner in Storm Lake. Let's see, Carrie had made me 2 batches of oatmeal, one for the morning on we did not have mango on the trip. Okay. Yeah. I could remember if I had mango when I left or not, but we didn't have mango, but we did have cashews. So this is the 21st. This is the oatmeal I had on the 21st. And then let me see. I mean, these are just these are campsite photos. This was in Storm Lake, in our campsite. It's a carved out log with a bear on one end, and there's like a little squirrel and an owl and a wolf, and just kind of a neat little thing that was in our campsite that I took a couple photos of. And so that was before we left there. I'm trying to see if I have any other. That was a dirty diaper that was at our Storm Lake campsite. So let me see if I have any other. Where my next photos of food are. Okay, so here we go. So I had oatmeal for breakfast on the 21st, and then my next meal was oatmeal for breakfast on the 22nd. I did not leave camp at all on the 21st, and so I skipped both lunch and dinner, and so then on the 22nd I had oatmeal. And then I got lots of photos of campsite things here, or maps. Let me see if I can find my next food photo. So my next food photo here is the first time I had kind of stepped from the diet, and I figured I'd take a photo of it. But my son we had a big thing of Planters peanuts that were salted. And so this is on the 23rd. So in 3 days, I've had 2 bowls of oatmeal. I think I might have grabbed a couple pieces of fruit because I bought a bag of oranges in Waterloo. But I had no substantial amount of food in those 3 days. So I was okay with having some peanuts with some salt on them. Let me see. There's a few comments here. Carrie said she did buy some weird sweet potatoes from Costco. Has anyone tried them? It's only one ingredient, basically sweet potato gummy sticks. I haven't heard of that. Okay. So yeah, so I had Planters peanuts here on the 23rd, and then on the 20. So, gosh, I almost should go through each day and talk about what happened on each day. But this was the first time I ate a real meal in 3 days, and I ate this meal at like 3:00 in the morning. We had a really awesome campsite in Carroll. I had a lot to do to get everything ready for the next day, and I wasn't going to bed till super late. And then there was a neighborhood dog that decided that it didn't want to shut up. So it sounded like it was from talking to some of the neighbors earlier in the day, it sounded like it was a regular occurrence. And so we had to ask the city of Carroll to politely request that they bring their dog in the house. So, but yeah, I didn't eat a real meal until what was this, Tuesday, the 24th, and I ate a ton of potatoes. Carrie had an Instapot that was full of potatoes, and in my head, I decided I hadn't eaten in 3 days. I might not eat much in the next 3 days. And so I am going to just pound as many potatoes as I can. Um, and so that's what I did. And that was my meal that night. Um, my next meal I have a photo of. I'm not sure here. It's not until yesterday. So I don't have another food photo from those potatoes till yesterday. I did eat some food. The uh, the things I had, they were of any substance. I did have lots of snacks like fruits and vegetables, grapes. There's a bunch of things that we provide as snacks for the riders that I try to give them a mix of some salty snacks like tortilla chips and potatoes, and then also some fruit like bananas and apples and oranges, maybe something that's on sale at the grocery store that day, just to get them rehydrated. So I was also grabbing some of those things. But a couple of things I did have Chipotle burrito twice, or I had two Chipotle burritos. And then I had a foot-long sub, Veggie Delight sub from Subway, that the lady really hooked me up with the veggies. Like, I had never seen more vegetables shoved into a single sandwich in my life, and it was delicious. Um, and so kind of that was a bulk of what I ate. And I had decided, after I had missed about my sixth meal, I had decided, I'm gonna eat something. I need to eat something, and it's just not worth it to uh, to starve and run out of. I was already sleep deprived. I was running on about 2 hours of sleep the first few nights, and then the third night I didn't get any sleep, and then I did take a short nap, and then went back to my 2 hour sleep schedule. So it it was wearing on me. The sleep, the lack of sleep was wearing on me, and I felt like I made good food choices, even though even when I wasn't making perfect food choices. And I hopped on the scale this morning. Let me see. I guess I didn't go over the food since yesterday, but yesterday we got home, we got right back on the wagon. We had some Spanish rice. Then this morning, I don't know, is this a food? This is okay. This is the Veggie Delight. I did take a photo of um, the Veggie Delight sandwich that I got. I had gotten it with their sweet onion teriyaki sauce. Um, I did not get guacamole on the sub. That would have been amazing. Um, I didn't think about it, but that would have been good. They have guacamole there. Jeez, I wish I would have known. So like, do they have guac? Because what I Googled it, like, what can you get that's vegan at Subway? And I kind of got the bread they said you could have, the sandwich, and then the sauce. But I didn't really think about putting guacamole on it. Let's see. Carrie's given the recipe for the oats here. And then Produce Not Pills said, do you think restaurant foods stall your progress? Yeah, I mean, if they can. I mean, it's when you're eating the diet that I eat 99% of the time, the whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet, any deviation from that is going to slow your weight loss. And so you just have to accept that slowdown. One of the things that I was amazed by when I was throughout the week was how quickly my body responded to the processed foods. And I was able to tell by the swelling in my right ankle. A big reason why I started this diet was because that swelling was getting to be really bad, and I knew that it was not a sign of anything good. And I ate those Planters peanuts. I think I had some Gardettos and a few things that were salty. Um, and uh, and within a day, my leg had started to swell, and there was a noticeable difference between my right and left leg, and I was shocked. And another thing, I was drinking Barks root beer. I have a thing about Barks root beer. I don't know what it is, but it's the only non-water liquid that I drink. It's probably not great for me, but the thing I noticed was that I could drink the Barks root beer and the swelling wouldn't it 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 wouldn't affect whether or not I got the swelling or not. But when I ate the salty foods, that's when the swelling went up and down. And throughout the 10 days I was out, my leg went from being thin to swollen to thin again because I noticed it, and I was like, well, I'm going to see what happens when that's kind of when I ate those potatoes in Carroll, when I had that meal, and kind of was like, all right, well, I'm going to not eat processed foods here for a day or two. And it thinned out again. And then I kind of was in another position where I needed food. But I know it's the salt, and it could be oil too, but it's the salty foods that seem to cause my leg to swell. And there's got to be something to it. I don't know what it is to it, but there's got to be something to it. And so for me, I'm just going to avoid the salty foods and watch the weight come off. Jay says you crave sugar and flour products when you're tired. Yeah, I don't know that I craved anything. The only thing, like I said, the Barks root beer, I kind of use as my crutch, as my, if I need energy, I'm going to just go have a root beer. But I was so busy that it was something that I was really, I just wasn't thinking about food. And, being lighter makes it easier to get around and, survive with the less energy, I guess. Carrie says, maybe switch out the guacamole. Yeah, the sauce for guacamole. Yeah, I didn't even think about guacamole. And Carrie says, you can definitely tell with my legs, it was crazy. And it's nice to be back home after making our own food again. Yes, it is. And Our Tiny Acres says, hugs, beautiful people. Hello, Our Tiny Acres. Hugs back to you. So this was our meal back at home. Then I had oatmeal this morning, and then I had broccoli this morning, and I hopped on the scale today, and my weight before was 257.8. And when I got on the scale today, my scale was 250.2. So I lost 7.5 pounds over the course of the 10-day period, or I guess really the 18 days since I've been here. I've lost 10 pounds, and I'm right at the 250, and that's awesome. I don't know that my weight's gonna. I don't, because I haven't completely refed. In fact, I got all this food in front of me here. I was gonna try to prep this and eat it, and I got talking, but I haven't refilled my intestines. And I think that's something that they don't take into consideration when they're looking at their weight and their weight loss. And when you fast, all of the weight that was in your stomach in food is going to be gone by the time you're done fasting. And so when you refeed, you're going to have 3 to 5 pounds of food in your stomach. It isn't really actually added weight. It's just it's it's just food, that your body's waiting to absorb or waiting to pass. And so, um, I imagine that as I eat the next couple days, I might gain a little bit of weight back. I'm not sure, it may be that my body's metabolism is just rolling right now, and I continue to see a weight loss. But I'm happy to um, see that. And so Pretty Girl's mom says, wow, great. And the swelling has come down. Yeah, the swelling is down pretty good. Let me pull this down and see if I don't know if I can show it on here or not. But there's not much swelling here, or really any. Like when I had my socks on, you could see a noticeable ring of where my socks were compressing the skin down. So really the swelling has gone down a lot. There's a little bit maybe on this side. I don't know if I can show this side with how my studio is set up. But maybe a little bit on the back side there, but it's gone way down. And it had ballooned up quite a bit. So, and Jay says you're eating less now. Your stomach is shrinking. This is good. Yeah, it's, I did eat less, for the couple weeks, but I don't know that, my portion sizes will change much, from what I was eating before, because I love me some broccoli and potatoes. And if I can eat a big old bowl of it, I don't really feel guilty about the volume because it's still going to be very low in calories. Karen here says that salt always makes their legs swell. Yeah, that I didn't realize it, but for years I was just always swollen. So it was not something that I would have noticed. And I never went any period of time where I didn't have salt in my diet. So I never gave my body a chance to react or to heal from not having the salt in my body. So I don't know. Dingo had asked about Corabel. I don't know if I should go over kind of each day or just go over that. But I guess I'll kind of go over each day. So we started off, we had to go up, pick up the water, and our first campsite was at a ball diamond. And so there was quite a bit of walking there. Really nothing special. I had that oatmeal that Carrie had made me. So I had breakfast that day. And then I had fruit in the cooler, and then water. The guys showed up, the riders showed up. It was crazy and hectic. Probably the best part about the whole week is that anybody who knew me said, wow, you look amazing. Wow, you've lost a lot of weight. And that was pretty awesome. I don't think anybody didn't make a comment. And, some of these people have seen me at my heaviest when, before COVID, when I was up 450 pounds out there trying to do this service for them. And then they've seen me post COVID go from, 500 pounds. I was probably in the 300 pounds, but to just drop from 500. Last year I was 300 pounds out there on Ragbrai. So I had lost 40 pounds since the last Ragbrai. And that 40 pounds was huge. I obviously, like I said, nobody didn't make a comment, didn't compliment me on how I looked. And that felt great. And it was really nice to to be acknowledged for the work that I've done. And um and so that was really great right from the beginning, the start. We had, it was a good campsite in Sioux City. We went to Storm Lake. We had a beautiful campsite on the lake. Just we were tight for space. We had a lot of riders. We had to fit in a very tight space, and they made it difficult for us to do things with our showers and our restrooms because of some restrictions that the region had because of drought. And so we had to jump through some hoops and had to work together with some other people, but we were able to make it work and succeed. And overall, I was happy with the site and how it went. After Storm Lake, we went to Carroll. One of the Storm Lake to Carroll. In Carroll, we were at a beautiful park on the edge of town, and it was an older park that had a pavilion that had a fireplace in it, which was really neat. But when I got to the park, I leave really early in the morning to go from town to town. I get up at about 4 in the morning, start traveling around 4:30, if not earlier, to get to the next town so that I can start mapping things out and doing signs for my riders and things like that. So I got to Carroll, and we got there early, and it was an old traditional park that had big swings, had a big merry-go-round, had like the horses on springs that kids can ride on, and all kinds of different things to play on. And so kind of, 5, 6 in the morning, me and my son are on the merry-go-round playing, making it go and spin around, and just awesome experiences that I might have been able to do at my heaviest. I might have hopped on there and spun around once or twice or pushed him a couple times, but being 260 pounds and being able to hop on there and to move my body into the thing and out of it, to use that inertia and momentum to make it spin on its own. And to go from that to hopping on a swing and just kind of swinging and playing on a swing for a little bit. It was great. And I'm so happy that I was able to share that time with my son and have that experience. And it's something that, the event allowed me to have, because the event exists, and my weight loss allowed me to do, so that you can, so they can do that. So, so Carroll was a real nice, fun place to stay. We got up. The riders had a really hard ride to get to Ames. They rocked it. It was super hot. I got yelled at by everybody who works for me that day, that I had to sleep because I stayed up all night, dealing with just the things. And we had the issue with that dog barking. We were also pretty close to a train track, so there was the noise from the trains. And so we get to Ames. It's a hot day. I finally was able to lay down and take a nap. But I did not take a nap until I had a chance to go swimming with my family. I was tired, but I knew that if I didn't go swimming in Ames, that I didn't know if I was going to be able to work it out again later in the week. And it's there's lots of things that I like to do on Ragbrai, and one of them is to just go relax at a pool and just take some time off. And so in Ames, I grabbed Carrie and the kids, and we went to this really neat aquatic center. And Dingo says, yeah, the 100-mile day was the Carol to Ames. Yeah, it was a long day for the riders. And also, I knew because it was a long day for the riders, I'd have a little bit of extra time. I could go swimming and do some other things. But yeah, and Carrie's saying that really the best part about the aquatic center was that they had this lazy river. The only downside is that there was 2 spots in the lazy river where it kind of shot water on you. And I think it was probably intentional, because if they didn't have those 2 spots, I would have passed out and not woke up for hours. I would have just fallen asleep in the lazy river and just floated around for hours and hours, because that was exactly what we needed, like to just be able to float in the water and just relax. And we had a 2-person float that me and Carrie were using, that we were able to kind of just like lay on each other, or more me laying on her, um, and just floated around and just was comfortable. And and so yeah, that was nice, to go to the aquatic center with the kids and the family. And then they had some water slides that I usually like to go on the water slides, but my feet, I had got some new shoes right before the event, and they caused some uh, pretty painful blisters on the front side of my feet. And so I wasn't walking around very fast at the swimming pool because I was barefoot and it was on concrete. So um, I didn't end up going up and doing any of the water slides, but my kids did talk me into getting in line to go off the high dive. They had like I don't know, 10 or 15-foot high dive that the kids were jumping off of, and they talked me into going and jumping off the high dive. And again, something that at 500 pounds, I really never would have considered, but at 260 pounds, I figured, why the hell not? And so I get there, and everybody's jumping off the high dive, and it gets to me, and I go to climb up the ladder, and they blow the whistle for the clearing the pool, that they had to take a 15-minute concession break, so everybody runs and goes and buys some soda or something. And so I had to real quick make the decision that I was going to jump no matter what. And so I climbed up the steps and I just ran off the end. I didn't even give myself, I didn't even have a chance to think, to hesitate to do it or not. And so, again, that was awesome. My kids saw me do it. They, I get to still be the fun dad. And so then, yes, I got done at the aquatic center. We drove back to the campsite, and I laid down for a couple hours and took a nap that I needed to take. The riders came in, they were hot and tired, but I think that they got everything they needed from us, and they were able to get into town and enjoy the afternoon when they could, while they could. But it's tough when they have such long days, because they don't get into town till the afternoon. They're tired and they want to get a shower, and so it makes for long days. And so I'm trying to think of anything else that happened in Ames of note, but then the riders got on their bikes and they got to ride to Des Moines in the crowd. I know it was a busy day out on the route. We had some concerns about them. They were closing down the highway, and I was worried that it was going to cause a real big backlog for riders, because they weren't going to let the riders on the highway. um, until like 9 o'clock. And then I think they saw such a huge backlog of riders that they opened the road up earlier to riders. But um, the riders came into Des Moines again. It was a short day, but it was very hot, and we got into Des Moines, and everything was kind of far away. You had to take a shuttle to get anywhere. Um, and but it was within the park, but it was still, like I said earlier, my steps that day were, over 30,000 steps dealing with my job. And after the riders had had one long day of riding and 2 hot days of riding, and then we were kind of in a field that didn't have any shade. They were pretty exhausted. I went out to Walmart and I cleared the Walmart shelves of all of their Italian ice cups. And I probably bought 100, 120, 150 Italian ice cups that I brought back to the riders. And they all loved it. They just needed something to help with the heat. So, we got that. We had to do a bunch of jockeying around to get our water in Des Moines. But again, we worked it out and made it work. From Des Moines, we went to Tama, Toledo. One of the cities I was most worried about just because of my interaction with the guy that helped set up our campground. But Tama, Toledo worked out well. It was a little bit of a zoo around us. We get put next to, there's a large charter called Pork Bellies. We get put next to them we get put next to them every now and then. And they have a really large operation, and it's hard not to get, for riders not to get lost in the confusion next to a big group like that. And so that kind of happened with us a little bit with getting riders to us. But in the end, they found the campsite. We had a good night. We were camped next to some vegans. I didn't get a chance to go talk to them, but there was a group that was like Team Vegan that was next to us that I was not able to get a chance to talk to them, but I wanted to say hi to them. I'm going to kind of eat some of my food here. I don't know if you guys have been wondering what I've been doing over here on the side, but I like to turn my broccoli and potatoes into like a mash like this. So I cut up the potatoes and broccoli and I throw some table tasty on it. And that's what I do here. Yeah, Dingo says it's powered by Plant's team. The organizer is out of Madison. Yeah, they were kind of up near us that day. Their spot, I don't know how they even were able to access their spot, if they had to access it from the road or what. But I wasn't real happy with the organization in Tama, Toledo, at least the campground people. But we make it work and we move on. After Tama, Toledo, we went to Coralville. Coralville was an interesting night. We were actually at the Quiet Campground. It was an elementary school. It was the Coralville Central Elementary School. And we had a nice spot there, and we had a few different groups around us. We had Air Force around us. We had Team Whiners and Team Aiken Knee. Were all around us. And then we were also the Quiet Campground. So there was people that came there to camp at the Quiet Campground or camp away from generators, things like that. Even though we ran generators, but don't tell anybody. But we had to run generators for our showers, and they knew that. And so in Coralville, we had a few different things going on. I really love Ragbrai, and I love the charity aspect of Ragbrai and the giving back to the communities and the towns that make Ragbrai happen. And something that's happened over the years is um, there's been less fundraising for groups and organizations because of the volume has gotten so large that it's hard to find enough groups and organizations to handle the needs of the people. So um, I had decided that in Coralville, I was going to try to find a way to do a fundraiser for, I wanted to do a fundraiser for the school that we were camping at. And I wanted to use our shower truck that I had built this year to kind of raise money for the school. So I got in touch with the city and they weren't able to work anything out with the school, but we did work something out with a local food pantry. It was the Coralville Community Food Pantry that I opened up our shower to the public for an at-will donation. So I wasn't charging any set amount. And I spread the word around camp to the Air Force group and to the other teams that were there that we were doing this fundraiser. And it was working out great until we had a storm come in. But we were able to raise a little over $400 for the food pantry, which I was really happy that I was able to do. There's a few things I like to do every year, and doing this is one of them. And each year I've been able to raise, I think, about $400 to $500 for different groups or different people who help make Ragbrai a success. And so we did that. But we did have a big storm come in while we were in Coralville. Thankfully, we were at the elementary school, which was a storm shelter. We got all of our riders into the storm shelter, all the riders that wanted to go into the storm shelter, I guess. There's a certain level of these people are big boys, and if they don't want to go, if they want to lay in their tent when there's a 100-mile-an-hour wind prediction, they can lay in their tent. I can't make them go up there. But we got the people that were concerned or worried, we got them up into the school. I went through camp. We closed up everybody's windows in their tents. We made sure everybody had rain flies on or that their stuff was covered up so that if they did get rain, they wouldn't be coming back to wet baggage. My brother, he is a sheriff's deputy, and he doesn't mind people hearing him talk. And so he kind of helped out a lot in the school, just kind of letting people know the information of what was going on, that we were having, that there was a storm warning or storm advisory and kind of what level we were at. And, at one point it was like, well, if you want to go back to your tent, you can. It's still going to be a little bit wet, but they don't think it's going to be any worse than it is now. And I had grabbed some of my guys, and we had a lot of water. So we buy pallets of water while we're out on the ride from the towns. And I had about a pallet of water left. And so we grabbed some dollies. We threw a dozen or so flats of water on the dollies, ran up to the school, and we just handed out water to everybody in the school. And so it was just something that we did to help kind of, make sure everybody had some water, maybe make them feel a little more comfortable about what was going on. And so, yeah, the storm kind of blew up the night, ended up going to bed probably midnight, something like that. And then we rode into Davenport. I ended up busing people back to Sioux City this year. It's the first time I've ever done a bus back to the start town at the end of the week. I probably won't ever do it again because I did not end up getting home until like 6:30 on Sunday morning because I round tripped Sioux City after the full week. And so it was quite a week. So let me see. There's some comments I missed back here. Dingo says that they were at New Pioneer Co-op when the wind blew in and decided to eat in their dining area. Yeah, we had a lot of people that were out. They weren't at camp. There was a concert that was about to start. I think Bush was the band that I don't think they ended up even playing, but they were going to get started. So we had people that were in town when the storm came in. So, that's why I went through and closed all the windows and made sure the rain flies were on, just to make sure people were okay. Um, and so Carrie's asking if Dingo went to the farm sanctuary. He said he did. That's awesome. We went to the farm sanctuary trick or treating. I think Carrie says that somewhere here. It was really neat to see the animals, just how big the cows are. They're big, big beasts of animals, and the pigs too. They're big and kind of aggressive with the food, But they're bred to be that way because they want them to be aggressive with food because that means then they'll eat more and they'll get fatter. So it's just something that we made them that way, I suppose. Let's see. Jay here says, oh, he's talking to plants only. He says he only eats steel cut oats or cinnamon raisin oat groats on Saturday and Sunday for brunch. Hey, plant powered peddler Janet, how you doing? It's been a while. I hope you're doing great. And then Carrie says she found a vegan Ragbrai Facebook group on Thursday, and that'll be helpful for next year. Yes, Janet says that's very cool. Let's see. Janet says a half dozen of us are now doing raw for 30 days using Lisa's raw food romance recipes. You're going to try to make her amazing wraps, hand salads. You got her book. That's awesome, Janet. I'd love to know how you do on raw. I think that it's probably a great way to eat. And I don't see the downside I see is getting enough calories or getting enough calories cheaply. If you're eating raw, I imagine there's a high amount of fruit in your diet, which causes the cost of the diet to go up. But I'm excited to hear how you're doing. How many days into the 30 days are you right now? I've been gone for a couple weeks, so I don't know what's been going on. But Carrie says we'll have to hunt down some of her recipes. She'd love some more cold food recipes for the summer. Yeah, you would. I'm not a big fan of cold food. So, let's see. Dingo says most of Western Iowa smelled like a sewer with all the factory farming going on. I think it might have been Carrie that took a photo of some of the hog barns and posted it on her Facebook. Like, it was a comment that was made last year that really struck us, is that Iowa is like the leading pork producing state in the nation. They're one of the top pork producing state or whatever. They produce more pork than anybody else. But you can ride your bike across the state or you can drive your car across the state. And the only time you'll ever see a pig if it's in a trailer being transported somewhere. It's just crazy. There's no such thing as a free range pig. I don't see anybody advocating for free range pigs or any, like it's wild. Like they're all in bins, they're all in barns, and all the women, all the mothers are trapped in farrowing cages for weeks and weeks, and it's just horrible. And it's just awful what we do to pigs. And it's, as long as I got my bacon, it don't matter to me, right? Like, it doesn't matter if that pig never saw light until it was headed to the slaughterhouse. It's just crazy, just wild. Janet says the reboot's going on right now, and all the recipes are winter food, so you figured it would be a perfect time to try raw when the weather is warm. Our Tiny Acre says you've been leaning too raw. And then Karen says, anybody know why Janet and I cannot see each other? I don't know. Maybe check to see that you have all chat and not top chat, or live chat and not top chat. But yes, Karen Gaylor is here, Janet. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe one of you blocked the other. Did you get mad at each other and block each other? Just teasing. So Carrie said that a non-Iowan rider this year asked where the pigs were. Yep, they're in barns, locked up. Janet says you've had salads, raw pad thai, raw cucumber, wasabi rolls, Lisa's famous chili. Tonight is her famous Asian ginger salad. Sounds delicious. Dingo says, I think I passed what Amish farm with old-fashioned pig huts under trees near the Amanas. Yeah, that would be probably an Amish farm, or not, not a big farm. It's been years since I've seen what you're talking about. There used to be a farm off of Highway 61 as you left the area I live in, and there would be, there was probably 20 or 30 of those huts, and there would, be mud everywhere, and you'd see pigs every now and then, but that's all gone now. So, yeah, Carrie says maybe one of you inadvertently blocked each other, and is blocking a thing on YouTube. I'm not sure. I think it is a thing. Well, I have no idea how you'd unblock them. We'd almost have to search them to unblock them. Karen says she checked her block list. Janet says, how do I check? I don't know. Janet wants to know how to check Karen. We're playing telephone here. It's like funny. So yeah, Coralville to Davenport went well. I had a great week. It was tough in the heat of the moment, in the heat of the event. It was, difficult. There were difficult moments. There were decisions made by people that weren't me that made my life harder. But Ragbrai is it's a problem solving week for me. It's something that I love to do. I love to solve problems. I love to help people solve their problems. There was riders that were tired and lost, and just helping them get things. Had a popped air mattress. I got a replacement for you. Just kind of being it is all kinds of things. But Carrie says, I'm glad it's over, but I love seeing our riders every year. Yes, that's what I really love about it. I knew that this was going to be the last ride for some of my regulars, being the 50th. I know I had people that had been holding out to say that they'd done the 50th, or they'd done that many. And so they had a very challenging ride. They powered through it, and they succeeded with getting from one side of the state to the other. And I'm really proud of all the riders that succeeded this year. Something I had kind of done. I sat along the route. There's a trail after the riders got done that some of them, depending on where they were going, would ride down this trail to get to their bus or get to their baggage to go home. And I just sat down, and I just kind of congratulated some riders as they came by. And you could tell the ones that had worked really hard and had done every mile, and to have somebody sit there and clap for them and congratulate them, uh, it lit up their face. And that was something, that I'll remember as well for years, is just trying to let those riders know that, like, I mean, Dingo, you did it. Dingo, I had lots of people not complete the week. It was crazy, but um, you guys spend hours and hours training to do this event. You spend your Saturdays and Sundays doing 30-mile training rides. You take a week and a half off work. Um, all kinds of things. And especially for riders that it's their first year doing it and going into the unknown and not knowing what it's like. And then to get through all that heat and all those miles and all those hills. It's a real accomplishment, and that's awesome. So that was great. Um, that's great for anybody who was able to do all the miles. I really think it's awesome. But yes, I had a lot of people. So we had 350 people with our group. Um, it was a whole range of people, many that weren't regulars or ones that, had ever ridden Ragbrai before. Unfortunately, there was a few riders that in the first day or second day, I knew that they likely weren't going to make it through the week. I think a lot of people had a contingency plan. They had a spouse lined up to say, "Hey, if I can't make it through the second day, can you come pick me up?" And I think that a lot of people had a hard day riding into Carroll with the hills, and then they saw the century or the 80-mile day the next day to go from Carroll to Ames, and they just packed their stuff up and left. And some of them didn't even say bye to me. They just grabbed their stuff and left, because they just knew they weren't going to be able to do it and continue on. I think that I don't know what they think going into the event. They signed up for a 500-mile bike ride. Um, Unless you do a 500-mile bike ride at home easily, um, it's a challenge, unless you're doing centuries, 100-mile bike rides with ease. Uh, you're not just hopping on a bike and riding up and down these hills in a crowd, for 50, 60 miles a day. Dingo says that the ridership was more sparse at the end. Oh yeah, I'm sure there was a lot fewer riders. There was a lot of people that were just looking to get into Des Moines, but yeah, it was a lot less crowded, which made my job easier because I had to deal with less bags, I had to deal with less showers, I had to deal with less people trying to find my campsite. It just made things easier. Um, and so then Karen here says, Janet, directions here, Janet. You can click on her photo at the top of her YouTube, click manage Google account. In there, click people and sharing, and it pulls up her block list. So maybe I can do this to help. There you go. So that should be Janet should be able to see that, I would think. Unless she's got me blocked too. Let me know, Janet. You got me blocked? Anyways. Let's see. Oh, Dingo said there was a spot in Muscatine that people were dipping because they were at the river. I didn't know that there was a spot in Muscatine. But yeah, that kind of makes sense if you rode up through that area, that um, there was a spot to dip in Muscatine. And Carrie had gone down. So I went down to the dip site. It was probably 7 or 8 in the morning. and it wasn't very busy. And then Carrie went down there, I think around 10 or 11, and she said the line for the dip site was crazy. It was like all the way down the block. Um, and so, yeah, Carrie says that she heard that they were smart people because the Davenport dip site was insane. Well, we, um, but yeah, we went down to the dip site. And it was pretty busy. But our riders, they ended up having to come over to, our location was at a casino a couple miles away. That they luckily it was a flat ride, because usually they have to go to a university that's up a hill. Let's see. Plant powered peddler Janet says, Karen, can you see me now? Let's see if she did have something going on. Dingo said you waited in the Davenport line, maybe an hour in the sun again. Did you get one of the coins that they were handing out? What time were you down there? I'm wondering if they had enough coins for the people. It was like I don't know, it was a medallion. But they were putting them out on a table when I got there, and I was curious if they were going to have enough for everybody that went by, or if they would have any, if they'd run out or not. So I'd be interested to know if you got your coin. But yeah, there was, from what I heard, there was lots of waiting in line throughout the whole week, waiting in line for food. But part of Ragbrai is waiting in line. If you don't have the patience to wait in line, then you should not do this event. But it does sound like waiting times were longer this year than they were in past. Dingo says you got in at 5:30 p.m. and you did get a coin. Okay, so they must have had plenty of them then if they were still giving them out at 5:30 p.m. So, but yeah, there's no shade. Like, they don't have, I don't know. I don't know how you provide shade for people in a line. I know it's tough, but if you could somehow have a carnival tent and have some, like, I feel like there was just lack of shade throughout the week for us at some of our campsites or for the riders on the ride. I don't know how many places in town or on the route that Ragbrai actually has anything set up. It's kind of all vendors, but it would be nice if they had, some carnival tents or some big top tents set up near the expos and things like that, because sometimes those expos are just out in the sun too, and people just need to get out of the sun. Let's see here. Karen says, yes, I've solved the problem. You must have said something that offended Janet at some point. I'm just teasing. It happens by accident. Carrie's blocked people on this channel in her pocket being the moderator here, so I know it happens by accident, but that's awesome. You guys got it figured out. You didn't get a patch. See, I didn't see, you didn't get your Century patch? Is that what you're saying? Or did they give out a patch for doing the ride? Yeah, it's, it's one of those things too, where, it's, if they, I can't imagine they're running out of this thing, or they're not accounting for the number of people, because I mean, the people, it's happened over the years. Like, I've had people complain that they did the Century Loop and they were either out of patches, or they had packed up the patch booth by the time they got there and they didn't get their Century patch. And that is probably one of the more crushing things for people, is not getting that Century patch, because you work hard for those, and that you did extra to do that, and you were counting on getting that. So, but okay. The end of the ride patch. Yeah, they ran out of coupons even. That's crazy. Yeah, that sucks. But you did get the century patch the day you did the century. Huh. Yeah, and again, I wonder if it's that they ran out of patches or if they just closed up by the time you got there. But, having they had such a long ride the last day. And I think that originally it was listed as like a 50-mile ride, but it ended up being a 70-mile ride. And that was hard. Like I had a rider that we were busing back, and for us to make the bus back schedule work, we have to leave at 3 p.m. And like you wouldn't have been able to make, I mean, you might have been able to make it, but you were in at 5:30. If you would have had to have been in at 3 o'clock to catch our bus, you'd had to have left a lot earlier, not taken any breaks. Um, and we had a girl that, she ended up having to hitchhike in and then get on the bus without her bags because her bags were at the Ragbrai Main, and it would have taken hours for her to wait to get her bags. Um, and it was just, it sucked for those people that had something that they had to go do, and then for you to get down there kind of probably at a reasonable time and them not to be set up sucks. But if it would have been a 50-mile ride, you'd have been there a couple hours earlier, the booth would have been open. But it was a 70-mile ride. Maybe they should have kept the booth open for a couple more hours. But they okay, so you said they were out the one time you tried. And they closed up the tent in Davenport by the time you got there. So, um, yeah, and if you email them, they might do something. Uh, they're actually pretty good. At least they have been for me. If you reach out and ask for help, they've helped. And we had a rider last year that he had a family emergency. Somebody in his family died. I think it might have been his wife's father, and he was in a hurry to get home for his wife. And I just wasn't in a position that I could help him get back. But I told him to go up to maybe the Ragbrai and see if they have a bus or if they know anybody. And he got the ear of the right person, I guess. And Ragbrai took one of their vans and grabbed him, came over to our camp, grabbed his bags, and gave him a ride back to Bettendorf. No charge, just because he asked. And so it's a cool event, and it's cool to see those things happen. But yeah, I would email them and see what you can get, and they might have them and send it off to you. So I don't know if anybody else has any questions about anything else. I did kind of mention that everybody made comments about how good I looked. I feel thin. I feel like I mean, I'm right on the edge of being a thin person, and it's pretty crazy. I mean, I'll try to stand up and see if you can see it with the clothes, but like, I mean, not there, but um, um, I got, and the loose skin, I suppose, is really starting to come out of the woodwork, in a sense, or it's starting to show. But um, I don't care about it. In fact, until I was talking about jumping off the high dive here on the stream, I didn't even think about the fact that I was running around that water park without a shirt on, with all my loose skin. Like I didn't think about it at the water park at all. Like I was so tired and just wanted to have fun and lay in the water that I didn't even think about that I probably looked like a melted candle out there. Um, and then it wasn't until I was talking about climbing the ladder and jumping off real quick that I even thought about there being eyes on me, and then that's the way I look. And um, so yeah, I'm happy with how I look and how I feel. Being down that 7 pounds, right around the 250. This is a great weight. I mean, this is we're talking freshman year of high school, like 15, 14 years old, the last time I was these weights. And I kind of feel like a 14-year-old again. And that's pretty awesome to be saying at 41 or 40. What am I, 40? I am 41. Yeah, at 41 years old. So, um, and just, yeah, just everything's easier. Getting in and out of the trucks was easy. My brother gave me a hard time because I did this maneuver where I walked up this step ladder and kind of walked right into one of the trucks. And it was like, you had to have some pretty good balance and pretty good confidence in what you're doing to get it done. And I just did it. And it's because I've lost the weight. It's because I'm this weight. And I can't imagine, the difference people made when I was 300 to 260. Difference here between 250 to 230 is going to be wild. And like, I'm going to be thin. Like it's wild. I'm going to be a thin person. And never in my life has that ever really been like so close to a reality. Like, gosh, I mean, just man, it'd be great. Um, let's see. I missed a bunch of comments here. Let's see. We got the blocking thing figured out. The end of the ride patch. Let's see. The Dingo says you felt very fueled and powered to do the ride. Anti-inflammatory diet, great blood vessels, moving oxygen around your muscles. That's awesome. Yeah, just fueling your body with good foods. I imagine that an anti-inflammatory diet is high in fruits and vegetables. If you're watching my stream here, Dingo says so many pork food choices on the ride: the pork chops, the pie, the beer, the energy drinks, the energy drinks. They're horrible. We provide Gatorades or Powerades for our riders, and we provide regular Gatorades with sugar, and we provide the zeros and the whatever, the frost, the non-sugar alternatives. And they all go for these non-sugar alternatives. And I just want to slap their hands and be like, if you're going to drink one of them, drink the one that at least has sugar in it. That's like a natural substance. Stop going for these fake chemicals that aren't real. But I'd really like them to just drink the water. But yeah, the energy drinks out there, the gels and all this stuff that, the electrolytes, it reminds me of the movie Idiocracy. If you've seen the movie Idiocracy, let me know. But that is one of my favorite movies ever. And some of the way our food system is going reminds me of the movie Idiocracy. And then Dingo says that there was a Mexican food booth the first few days. You got black beans and rice with avocado. You stocked up on Cliff Bars and chocolate drinks for protein. Lots of fruit when you found it: apples, bananas, oranges, and watermelon. You'd stop at stores and buy cherries and grapes. Yeah, there were lots of cherries. Grapes were decently priced per pound. And yeah, that's good you were able to find some food. It can be tricky. Yeah, our crew survives on those Monster energy drinks. I bought cases of those for those guys, but I was fueled by Barks root beer and potatoes throughout the week, I suppose. So I didn't have a perfect diet, but I'm a lot less worried about sugar these days than I am the sodium. And I think that for me this week proved it, that there's something with the salt that causes my leg to swell up, and that's not good. Dingo says, fortunately, there was a few health stores along the way. You filled up there too, had to carry a lot of your own food. Yeah, and the Hy-Vee grocery stores are usually pretty good. Fairways are pretty good for getting food. Just depends on where you're at in the town, you know. And a lot of times you guys are just on a bicycle, so it's tough to get to a store that's very far away to get food and then to keep it for the week. You know, it's hard. You can't refrigerate the fruit, and so it's only going to last you a few days and things like that. Dingo says if you do the whole week again, you consider the vegan team or a charter. You can bring stock of your own whole food plant based. Yeah, I mean, if you rode with our charter, you know, like I don't provide food for people. Well, I provide pizza, but we don't talk about the pizza because I'm vegan. But anyways, I only do that one day, and it's on Thursday because it's a rough day for the riders. But yeah, we provide some fruits and vegetables on the counter for people or on the tables. But yeah, you still got to find your own snack food, your own meals, you know, and finding full meals. You know that Subway I got, that Veggie Delight. I was surprised with that. You can probably get that in a wrap. Uh, that isn't too bad as well. And then in hindsight, I kind of wish I would have gotten the oil on it with pepper versus the sauce that I got on it. But yeah, it's tough to eat a whole food plant-based diet and be traveling like this for a week. It's through Iowa, which it's pork country, you know. If you were eating a carnivore diet, it'd probably be a lot easier to do Ragbrai than eating a plant-based diet. And you know, I mean, it's something where I just kind of this year was like, well, I'm just gonna go without. You know, if I can't, if I don't have my food, then you know, and this week is really it's an endurance challenge for me that I put myself through. I um Everybody does their own different things. You know, there's people that train to climb Mount Everest, or there's people that train to do backpacking trips, or do Ragbrais, or do 100-mile runs, or do different things. And I, um, I kind of like doing this. It's almost like a sleep deprivation, endurance kind of survival test. Um, and it's when I was, you know, during the week real tired thinking about these things, um you know, is where these thoughts are coming from, is while I was tired. But um just like if we were living in the wild, if we had um didn't have the modern life that we had, that the two things that we would probably be stressed with the most is the amount of sleep we got because of fear of being hunted or predation, um, and the lack of food. And there would have been periods of time where we would have had both lack of food and lack of sleep, and we had to survive through those times. And I think humans are designed to survive through lack of food and through lack of sleep. Um, I think that, you know, you don't always make the greatest decisions when you're sleep deprived, but there's somewhat of a clarity in some of your thought, you know, and it almost is similar to the clarity of thought when you're fasting. Um, and uh, I feel like being able to get through the stress of not eating and not sleeping and to succeed, you know, is and to not let the stress get to you, um is a great training for if it ever did happen to the point where I was forced to have to be sleep deprived or starved. which I don't imagine will happen in my lifetime, but, you know, it doesn't hurt to be concerned about it. So, Dingo says, but it's nice to have a 4,000 calorie budget to fill. Yeah. Or yeah, just being able to eat a lot of food. I should probably go. It's 8 o'clock here. I got half a bowl of food that I haven't finished yet. I gotta lock up the building and head home. So I'm gonna get out of here for today. I'll be live tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Throw them down below or ask me tomorrow. Everything was great with the week. Ragbrai gave me lots of lemons and I made the best lemonade possible. This was a big one for me. This was the 50th year. I wanted to make sure that everybody that rode with me had a great 50th year, and I think they did. For what I could control, for what I could handle, I did everything I could. I went above and beyond for many of my riders, and I think that it was awesome for all of us. And I know there was a lot of people out there that had a lot harder time than we did. And I'm glad I was able to make it easier, even though it wasn't necessarily easier for me or my crew. And I had wonderful people working for me. My wife was awesome. My kids were incredibly patient. My family that worked for me and my employees and friends that all came out to help me, they were awesome. So Carrie says, hurry home, Fa. That means I got to go in, guys. Great video. Bye till next time, Monique. Thanks, Monique. Yes, until next time, which is hopefully tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Time. I will see you guys later. Make sure if you haven't hit that like button down below, you hit that like button. If you have not subscribed to my channel, get subscribed to the channel. Click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. And if you have not started your diet yet, get started right now. There's nothing coming up that's more important than your health and your overall well-being. In just a short 1,003 days, you could be 270 pounds lighter. But in order to be 1,003 days in, you got to get started right now. So quit putting it off. Start making the movements and the choices that are going to be the best ones for your health and your longevity. And you'll be amazed at the benefits you can see from eating a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet. You guys have a great one. I'll see you tomorrow.